Diddy's $820 million empire is in ruins, and his legal team tried to postpone his trial, but his motion was turned down. Thus, his May 5, 2025 court date is set in stone. Diddy is presently charged with 3 federal crimes. Even though Combs has entered a not guilty plea, he is still in federal custody awaiting his trial. What are the specific federal charges he faces, and what do they entail? What evidence and allegations have been presented by the prosecution? What could the outcome of this trial mean for Diddy's legacy and the larger entertainment industry? We have spent weeks reviewing court documents, tracking civil cases, and piecing together the entire timeline that led to this exact moment. This episode will cover everything you need to know about the Diddy case before the trial starts, including the specific charges, the evidence, and the implications for the music industry as a whole. Let's get started. When the federal agents arrived at Diddy's mansion with search warrants, they were assembling evidence that his entire business empire, including the music, clothing, and vodka, was essentially operating like a criminal operation. However, what sets Diddy's case apart is that they are using racketeering laws, which essentially state that Diddy operated his businesses like a criminal enterprise in accordance with the racketeering conspiracy charge under 18 U.S.C. 1962. The prosecution claims that Diddy's various business entities, including Bad Boy Records, are in response to a civil lawsuit filed by former employee Rodney Jones Jr. Cole's legal team has adamantly denied all allegations against him, claiming that the charges are baseless and part of a larger attempt to damage his reputation. John Clothing and his Ciroc Vodka partnership were not only successful ventures, but also parts of his criminal enterprise. However, what makes this case unique is the application of RICO laws to a hip-hop mogul. RICO stands for Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, a federal law enacted in 1970 that was primarily designed to combat organized crime. Combs' lawyers have filed to dismiss the case, claiming that if convicted on the racketeering conspiracy charge alone, it is full of egregious lies and legally baseless accusations. What makes this so potent is that it allows prosecutors to use extremely old evidence that would typically be too old to prosecute. The typical 5-year time limits don't apply to ongoing RICO conspiracies, so accusations from way back can still be used against Diddy. Every text, business record, and witness statement becomes more damaging when seen as part of a larger pattern rather than random events. Diddy faces up to 20 years in federal prison. Federal prosecutors win around 90% of RICO cases for this reason, and if he is found guilty, Sean Diddy Combs faces a serious federal charge of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion under 18 U.S.C. 1591A, which could result in Diddy losing everything related to the illegal enterprise, including his business holdings, properties, and assets valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. The indictment claims that Combs planned events known as freak-offs, in which women were forced to engage in elaborate sexual performances with male sex workers. This statute, which was created to combat human trafficking, carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years and can go up to life in prison upon conviction. These incidents were allegedly planned, orchestrated, and frequently captured on camera by Combs, who used the recordings as leverage over the participants. Combs allegedly gave women drugs like ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB to keep them, quote, submissive and compliant, threatened and coerced them to satisfy his sexual desires, safeguarded his reputation, and covered up his actions. Reserving hotel rooms and filling them with medications, baby oil, and lubricants, more than 1,000 bottles of which were taken from his residences. Victims sometimes required intravenous fluids to recuperate from the strain and drug usage. Several people have filed lawsuits accusing Diddy of abuse, including one from his ex-girlfriend Cassie. Cassie and Diddy settled her lawsuit just one day after she filed it in November 2023, even though Diddy denied her allegations at the time. But things took a dramatic turn in May 2024 when CNN released security camera footage from 2016 showing Diddy physically attacking Cassie. The footage showed Diddy punching and kicking Cassie in a hotel hallway in Los Angeles after this video became public. Diddy posted a video statement on Instagram where he admitted to assaulting her. The sex trafficking charge isn't just legally serious. It tells the whole story prosecutors are trying to paint. They're essentially saying that behind all these parties and glamour was this calculated scheme to exploit people. It would officially stamp his legacy in a way that can't be undone. A conviction turns all these whispers and suspicions into cold, hard facts. So the third charge they've hit Diddy with is violating something called the Mann Act. It's this law under 18 U.S.C. 2421 that basically makes it illegal to transport people across state lines for prostitution or illegal sexual activity. The maximum here is 10 years instead of potentially life in prison. Think about it. The feds have apparently subpoenaed every single jet charter company Diddy ever used to obtain all of his flight records, which show exactly who was flying with him where. Prosecutors claim that Diddy was transporting people between Miami, Los Angeles, and New York specifically for these swindlers. How frequently these travels occurred and where they were traveling. What they're actually attempting to do is compare these flight logs with those who bring legal action against him. They claim that Diddy was transporting prostitutes and women to various locations, such as his homes or events, and that he covered these journeys up as official business gatherings or professional opportunities, a whole system he had in place. The beauty of using Section 2421 is that they only need to demonstrate that he knowingly arranged for people to cross state lines for illegal sexual activity. This charge essentially serves as the glue holding the entire case together, connecting the trafficking and racketeering claims into a cohesive story of ongoing criminal activity. Have you noticed how quickly his industry allies jump ship, partners halt promotions, and his business value drops from $820 million to almost nothing as sponsors and collaborators back away? People like Jay-Z, who used to mention Diddy as a close personal friend years ago, are now practically cleaning their social media accounts and using phrases like, "We had a strictly professional relationship." The industry elite used to use those renowned white parties in the Hamptons as private after-hours events to network. But now, those same connections have turned into liabilities. Even celebrities like Will Smith and Justin Bieber, who are rumored to have attended those notorious freak-off parties, are rapidly separating themselves. Whatever happens next, we've got you covered because where there's a scandal, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Hey, 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 hey.